welcome in our 1320 host and contributor and the host of the game last night, Cap, Olivia Christian. Olivia, how you? Come on, man. Are you feeling good today? You got to be feeling good today.
I am. I'm so excited to be on the day after such an exciting win. This is so fun.
Now I got to ask you, Olivia, I know you're not necessarily a Kings fan, but how did you feel going into that game? I mean, I think you like the Kings, but you're a Warriors fan. We've talked about this. You're a Warriors fan. All right. You're a King. It's like me and the Knicks. She's a Kings supporter. I'm a Knicks supporter. I like the Knicks, but I'm a Kings fan. Same thing with the Warriors. Warriors. And
all right.
I'll take that. There's nothing wrong with that. But did you have the same feelings that say I had going into that game last night? Where I was like, yo, I need this one. I need to beat Indiana. I need to lock up Tyrese. I need all of that. Did you have the same feelings?
Similar feelings. I didn't feel like we needed to do anything particularly special because of Tyrese. You know what's funny about all of this is like women are often talked about being so emotional. We're so emotional. You can't put them in stressful situations. They can't be president because they're so emotional. I'm like, look at all these men out here. This is like the longest breakup Tyrese has probably ever experienced, still talking about it, going through them, and then we're retaliating. Like, let's just let it go. We've all moved on to better partners that bring out better things out of us. Let's move on from this. But in terms of must win, yes. And I think the theme for me has always been like, I feel like the Kings, there are a number of teams that you have to beat and beat them in a resounding fashion to make a statement and to better position yourself with the NBA community, to get calls, to get, respect. And so last night's game, I thought they had to win for sure. And they needed to win in a particular type of fashion. And they did it last night. They ran them up. They played well as individuals and collectively. And it was just so much fun to watch and see the progress as the season has gone on.
And I think that's the thing, Kenny and I were talking about just a second ago, is especially compared to recent years, how fun this team is to watch. Like, they're a really likable group of guys, and they're just really fun to watch play basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I made a couple of notes about Domas and Malik both skipping to the sidelines after they both made really great moves. Like, Domas had a particular assist, and then they called a timeout, and he's just like, we're off to see the wizard, just skipping over to the side. I'm like, oh, that's so great. Malik made an amazing dunk in the fourth quarter that took the lead to 30, and we're off to see the wizard, skipping over to the sideline. Like, oh my goodness, the amount of joy
more than one
these
center
players
came
have.
Little brick road.
Well, look, when Malik did it, the Pacers didn't call timeout. He turned around like, oh, I thought y'all called a timeout.
That's right.
But it's like it's clear they're enjoying the process, even the process of being coached, right? Some players look at when the coach pulls them over, like, you need to be doing this better. They're like, whatever, man, I know what I'm doing. Okay, they sit down on the bench in a huff. But Mike Brown has them dialed in. They all look like they want to be better. They're ready to be coached, so they're excited by being corrected. They're communicating to each other and correcting each other, and it's all joy and it's all love, really, and it's really contagious. I mean, I'm watching from LA on my home on my couch, and I'm like, God, I wish I was at Golden One right now. It looks so fun to be in that atmosphere. And I'm excited for the fans. I'm excited for the team, obviously. It's just so fun to see those guys playing with so much joy.
Yeah. The massive refs you suck chant was.
Look at me started on those guys.
That was thunderous last night. I can't believe they called that a flagrant on.
That's crazy.
On Malik.
That's crazy.
That I don't know. Do you get fined for flagrants? Because that's one you can't take that man's money for that foul.
Yeah, I think you do.
It's a flagrant one. I don't know if you get fined for a flagrant one.
That was terrible.
That was a terrible call.
That was terrible.
And the crowd let them know that.
Wow.
It was a terrible call, but I mean, like, the injury, that's super scary. I don't know why you don't have a mouthpiece in. If you're a big guy down there, like, don't you put in the mouthpiece so you don't bite your tongue?
Yeah, but in 2022, yeah, you wear a mouthpiece.
You should, but that's not what should influence a call, though. The reaction shouldn't, or the consequence shouldn't influence the call. Like, it happened, it sucks, but that was part of the game. It's not Malik hit him with a Tyson in '88 under his jaw. Like, that's not what happened.
Right. And what made it even worse,
or a Doug Christie, and
there's always that 03.
Didn't hit him with that.
What made it even worse was He didn't even make the call until the Pacers went crazy.
Yeah.
Like then, yeah, well, hold on, whoa, wave it off, flagrant foul, offensive foul. Like, stop, bro, stop. These refs they're getting worse by the day.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, the refs are human. They respond to what sometimes, obviously they're not supposed to, but they respond sometimes to crowd pressure. And that's why I was talking about the necessity of starting off the season in a position to get respect and to get calls. Because if you're Kings teams of old and you're likely going to lose or lose it in the end, you're not going to get the refs to really pay close attention and not be responsive to the other's bench trying to recruit you into a call. Now, of course, it still happens. There are a number of calls that Domas gets that are just like ghost calls. Like, he wasn't even over there, or he just turned around, and like, oh, so we're still fighting through that. But it happens in every league, honestly. It's just like a Tom Brady thing, roughing the passer. If he gets up and he's angry and the crowd's yelling, the referees throw the flag. So, but that's what you get when you're Tom Brady or you're LeBron James. And that's why the Kings have to, in my opinion, keep continuing to win those games that they're supposed to win. So when they're playing those teams that it's 50-50, it's iffy, we'll see what happens, then they're better positioned to get some calls when it comes to crunch time.
Who do you think the team's best player is right now? I know we love the squad as a whole, and we just we talked about how great they're playing together. But do you think you can pinpoint who is the team's best player right now through 20 games?
Oh gosh, the best player right now is, I think, Malik. He just comes in and he changes. I mean, obviously De'Aaron Fox is the franchise guy. Domas changed the chemistry of the team when he came in midseason last year, but I feel like Malik's energy and even TD, like how they come in off the bench, speaks so much to the effort that is executed by all the other players when they're playing high, which is always, right? I don't think there's a game that we can point to and say like, well, he was off that night. If he's not making shots, if he's not hitting threes, if he's not throwing down dunks, he's doing it on the defensive end. So I just think he is so important. And the sixth man is always important on every team. And I think Malik has really stepped into that role, stepped into his game, found a team where he could be himself and thrive. And he loves what he's doing. You can tell that he loves the way that he's contributing. And it means so much to this team for him to be able to get subbed in and to not miss a step. And if anything, maybe add to the lead that they already have. So in that way, in that regard, I think he's the best player. But we obviously need De'Aaron Fox to show up every night. I'm concerned about, his feet or whatever is happening to him. Maybe he can sit down on Sunday. But
that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah, but Malik is crucial, I think, right now. He's crucial to their success, their energy, their emotion.
Yeah.
Who do you think it is?
I think it's De'Aaron.
Really?
De'Aaron.
I mean, I didn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that. I think it's Domas. I think Domas is so critical to everything that they do.
Yeah, I mean,
maybe that's not the answer to. Maybe that's an answer to a different question. Who's the most important player? De'Aaron's the best player. Domas is the most important player. Maybe those are two different things that I'm thinking.
What you're saying isn't wrong, but it's because they set it up that way, right? You know what I mean? Like, they set up the offense to run through Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
So that's why he's maybe the most important.
Sure.
The best player is De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah. Okay.
He's the team's best player. And, maybe I'm partial to the guards, but Malik might be number 2. Malik is balling.
Yeah,
he's unguardable. He's a playmaker. He hits on all 3 levels. He is phenomenal right now.
We were talking about this. It's like Olivia was saying a second ago. We were talking about this with Coach Patrick on Tuesday, though.
Mm-hmm.
When you've got that spark off the bench, man, that could change everything for you, because not only does it ignite that second team, it could ignite that first team.
Yeah.
And Malik he's doing that on the regular now.
No.
And while I also think that's important is because Domas has gotten in some foul trouble. Again, some of these are calls that he deserves. A lot of them are calls that he doesn't deserve. These shadow calls, like, I don't know who was there, these ghost calls. And yes, the offense runs through him. He's an amazing passer. He gets beat up a lot down there. So he's crucial to what the Kings are doing. But when he sits down and Metu comes in, I feel like that second unit, those folks are so important to the success of this team right now. That's what we lacked last year, right? It's like turning it over to the bench and like, all right, let's hold our breath to see if we can stay within range here to overcome this deficit. And now it's like, how much can we build? how big of a lead can we add to this with these guys coming off the bench? And that energy from Malik and I think from TD together, Davion, of course, he's always taking on the most difficult person on the court to handle defensively. He enjoys that. I just think it's been that has been the key to their success thus far. The 3-ball, of course, from Herter, but when he's not hitting, the rest of the team continues to come in and produce. And I think Malik is the leader in that.
I'm with that, man. I understand that completely. And, you know, I ain't going to say nothing bad about my man, Malik Monk. You know that. That's my boy on the show. That's my boy right there.
We had TD. We need to get Malik. That's the next guy we need to have on the show is Malik Monk.
Malik is my favorite as well. Malik is my guy. Yes, because I like the energy he brings. I like the rough. When he goes in to attack the basket, you know, sometimes, you know, he gets swatted away. Sometimes it's a mess. It's like, oh, you're going to be on SportsCenter tonight. But that doesn't deter him from going back at it. And that's what I love. Like, he's like, all right, I hit the ground. It was a mistake. I might be a poster right now, but I'm getting after it. I'm not giving up tonight. It's going to happen. And I just like that grit and that grind.
He tried to catch a Miles Turner body.
Oh my God! Yeah,
that was quick and nasty.
Yeah, he did. And that's
the fearlessness.
Exactly.
It's a tough task though. It's like I'm gonna go at Miles Turner. That's a tough task. That's a big boy. That's one of those dudes who I saw. Oh, okay.
Hey, big boy.
You don't translate on TV. Like, that dude is built different in person.
He's one of those guys where you look at him like, now if I was a ball player, what am I supposed to do with that?
Yeah.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
How am I getting a shot off over this guy?
Yeah. That's a bad man. That's a bad man. And you know what? And I guess, and I don't mind doing this, just continuing to harp on Malik Monk. Yeah. After the Phoenix game, he had another one of those. Look, we're fine. We're not going to splinter. We're not going to separate. 3 games, it happens, but I'm going to make sure we stay together. Kings post a picture, you know, later on social media team with him and Kevin Herter.
I love that.
And I think that quote was below it.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold us together or something like that. And it's like, yo, this dude in 2 months, 3 months, or, you know, however long he's been. 2 months into the season, 4 months into his Kings, he's a leader on this team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, Malik Monk is a legit leader.
He is. And like I said, it's contagious. It's when athletes, when teammates want to play for each other, they feel responsible for one another, and they want to see each other succeed individually and collectively. It's contagious. His joy, his grit, his get after it, like his ability and interest in and going up against the biggest guy on the court, like with no worry. I mean, he might get knocked up, might end up with another Band-Aid here or there, but he's like, we're doing this. And that's what the other players on the team see and want to be a part of. And I think that's what adds to the joy of playing for one another. Defensively, one thing that kind of stands out to me, like last night, it seemed like they did that thing. And Kenny, I know you're a coach, so I don't know if this is something you've likely heard about, but the whole, like, as a team, it's as if you're all connected with a rubber band, and if you move to one side, you kind of move together. Like the ball's over here, and the ball over there.
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were doing that last night. They were working as a team defensively and being effective in that way. And I think that kind of process will continue to improve as the season progresses. But being a leader means being able to accept failures on the court, not having a hot night, maybe getting, you know, a ball stolen from you or missing a pass, and being able to gather yourself and keep people together. Remind them of the success that you have and keep pushing and keep going. And that's the kind of energy, again, that Malik has. That's why I'm like, I love Malik. King. Yeah. His name means king, as Mark Jones likes to tell us over and over again. He's definitely a king out there.
Yeah, man. Hey, you've been around me for 2 years now. You know, I was watching Malik, you know, ball out on Monday, and then last night, you know what I was thinking. Hey, when's the soonest we can get this man an extension? When's the soonest we can sign him to a 4-year deal?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
When's the soonest we can make that happen? Let's go.
Kenny's got Malik. He's got max money locked away for Malik moving forward. Like, he wants to make sure.
I don't want Malik to ever leave. Him and De'Aaron here in Sacramento forever.
I'm with you. We got to whatever it takes to make him happy. Keep him in Sacramento. Let's figure this out. What can we do?
Can't lie. May have thought the same thing after Terrence Davis' second dunk. Terrence Davis hits back-to-back like alley-oops. Like, oh, man. Was it December 15th? It's going to be wild when Terrence Davis get an extension before Monty McNair does.
Man, I'm saying. And look, TD a free agent.
That's what I mean.
TD got to stay.
That's what I mean.
TD got to stay.
Yeah, Terrence with us.
Yeah.
Terrence with us.
I feel like there's so many people on the team. I mean, I want you guys all to stay. Can we keep this family together for a few more years? Let's just get everything we can out of these guys. I feel like they want to give so much to the team, to the community. They feel so locked in. It just feels like a family. Don't break them up. What does it take?
Well, I was going to say, and you know what, Damon, we've talked about this a couple of different times, and it came to the forefront of my mind during the TNT game because I went back and watched the broadcast. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we had talked a couple of different times where, you know, people would say stuff like, oh, you know, this young Kings team or whatever. And I would agree. You'd be like, yo, this team's not young. Like, stop saying that. Well, then they like laid out the guys. And I've talked about this a number of times. I think Domas is like the oldest at like 26. Everybody else is like 24, 22. Yeah. They're not 19. It's not the baby Kings or nothing like that.
Right.
But, like Malik Monk, 24 years old.
Yeah, but that's NBA. Like Houston's young.
Yeah.
That team is young. Those teams are young.
I would argue the Kings are young. They're 24. Okay. Their best players are 24 and 26.
Well, okay, Harrison's 30.
He's not.
Or 29. Don't do that. You're not gonna do that today. You are not doing that today. That man had 22 last night. You will show that man his respect.
Come on, man. I acknowledge Harrison. You know that. I acknowledge him.
All right.
But what I acknowledge Harrison, that's for you, big dog. You know you're my man. But I mean, look, they've got 4 years before a lot of them are 28 to 30 years old. That's young. 4 years from now?
Yeah, I mean, okay. I'm not going to get into a debate.
They're not the baby Kings. They're not the baby Kings.
Not super team, just young.
They're the teenage Kings.
No, it is funny though when I look at their ages. When I look at their faces, they don't seem super young looking to me. And then I see those ages. I'm like, oh, I could be everybody's mom. I'm the old auntie or something to all these people.
Yeah, that's not a game you want to play.
Auntie O.
That's not a game. That's not a game you want to play where you look at athletes and go, man, it could be my son. That could be my. Yeah, you don't want to do that.
Because it's a sad thing. They all stay the same age, but I keep getting older. How does this work?
But you know what happens is we've known these guys for so long now. Yeah. So long. It feels like De'Aaron and Malik.
De'Aaron has literally grown up in front of us. Right. Like the man is married with a kid coming.
Right. It feels like they're 28, 29 years old. These guys are 23, 24 years old. Yeah.
Well, that's what I think is so remarkable about young athletes in general. Like we expect so much from them to
right
be
away.
Yeah, they're adults now. They're making millions. They need to perform a certain way. They, in addition to being professional athletes, they need to have their foundations. What are they doing for the community? Why aren't they curing these things? Why are they tweeting this stuff? They should know better. Like they're 23, they're 24. What were you doing at that age? Probably not anything near what they are and what they're expected to do. But yeah, like the fact that they're so young and there's so much room for growth. That's the other reason why you just want to lock these guys in and see what they can do. It's going to be fun.
We pop off on Twitter. No one cares. Lamar Jackson pops off on Twitter. It's like Sports Center headline story.
Oh, man.
How did you, we haven't talked. I guess we did. How did you think they looked defensively last night?
I thought I saw some improvement there. And here's the thing, what's challenging for me is like, when they win by so much, it's like, yes, they're doing everything great. Like, well, how many points are they giving up actually? Are they improving? And I feel like they did, looking at Will Z's stats, I do think they made some improvement last night. They jumped a couple of ranking spots with their defensive effort. But it also did seem like they were limiting second chance points. They didn't have a lot of fast break points against them. So they were getting out and, again, working collectively as a team. There are individuals, of course, that are standing out in certain instances and plays. But I'm still a fan of Mike Brown blowing the whistle or calling for a timeout, I should say, and trying to correct. I know Kenny, I saw that and I'm like, oh, I'm kind of sick of that. I like it. Shut it down right away. Let's remind ourselves of the game plan and play the way we're supposed to play. So as often as they need it, I'm for it. And last night, they clearly didn't need that correction too many times. So I'm glad
Only
about the
50 seconds into the game. Mike got his point across 50 seconds into the game. All right, we're doing this. It's like 4-1, like timeouts. It's 3-1 timeout.
And I'll say this. Part of my frustration with that is just as a viewer, right? Like I'm watching the game. All right, game's going. Let's go. What? The timeout? Bro, I just got here. I'm all, you didn't ask us to stand up and get louder. I'm ready to go. And now 40 seconds in, I got to wait for the game to start again.
Start over. Oh, it's like interval training. Let your heart rate come down. You got to bring it back up. Come on, man.
Oh, I love that.
So part of it is that. The other part is, which isn't an issue, because I don't want them to start taking that for granted and tune that out. And that hasn't seemed to be the case. Like they respond to it. They play well out of those timeouts. And that's really all that matters. As long as the team is still good with it and they're still responsive to it, that's all that matters. And that's what seems to be the case.
Yeah, I feel like as soon as they have that timeout, they're like, oh, yes, what am I doing? You saw it quickly, correct me quickly. It will stay in my mind the rest of the game as a result of that early timeout. This is what I'm imagining is going on in their mind. And it doesn't seem like they need to be corrected again. And that's what I like about Mike Brown in general. I think he's got these guys dialed in, but also he's got them dialed in a way where they're okay with being really coached and held accountable. It doesn't matter if 30 seconds have gone off the clock. It doesn't matter if we're a minute or two into the first quarter. We've got a game plan. We're responsible for one another, executing the way that we've already talked about. It doesn't matter how great the national anthem was, or if 50 Cent is sitting by the courtside and you're all distracted. We just like, nah, let's remember what we're here to do and reel it in a way if necessary. And I think it's helpful for creating good habits.
I'm sure you guys talked about it, but I hadn't been around. That moment on Monday with Terrence Davis was phenomenal.
Oh, it was incredible. It was so good.
Great stuff.
It was so
good. To see all that stuff play out in real time.
Yeah,
good. That was great.
Yeah, that was so good. And Keegan, God bless. Keegan had that what had happened look on his face when Mike pulled him aside, because that's what Mike does. Mike will call the timeout and he'll go straight for the because when I rewatched the game this morning, I was trying to I'm not quite clear what happened on that possession that he was really upset about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to say he was upset about, but that made him call the timeout. And he pulled Keegan over, and Keegan, God bless him, he has the same facial expression no matter what. He just deadpan was what had happened is Craig and him was over here, and I'm not sure. By the way, Maybach to piggyback off your point with exact numbers, fast break points 31-8. So feeling like it didn't feel like the Pacers had very many. Your assessment was correct. 31-8 were the fast break point differential last night. 15-10 second chance points in favor of the Kings, and points in the paint were even at 56 apiece. So those
it was clear to me that those are great numbers.
I didn't look at my favorite number. 28 assists last night.
I was about to say it had to be 27 or
28
more.
assists.
Yeah.
I think they had 32 versus Phoenix, which is wild.
They played pretty well against Phoenix.
They really did. Yeah,
that's just the game.
I think that's why it hurt to lose. It was like those ones are tough. Like when you're right there against a really, really good team and you can't get it. Yeah. Like you can't get over that hump.
That was
or get that offensive rebound.
That's the game. Like you lose games sometimes. And you don't have to do a whole lot wrong. Sometimes the other team steps their game up, or it happens. I thought they played well on Monday.
Well, that's what I've said a number of times on this show. I feel like those close games, those are the daggers to the heart. When you're just a couple of bounces away, a couple of free throws made away from a win, like that stuff is the stuff that when you get blown out, you're blown out. And luckily they haven't really experienced that this season, but those close ones are tough. And that's why it's really important when you're playing teams where you should get the win. When their stars are sitting, people are hurt, whatever, like go in, make a statement, get that win. So you have that emotional energy, you have that physical energy to take on tough teams like Phoenix and make it a real game and hopefully get a win.
Yeah. Maybach, follow her on social media, The Game Last Night Cap, where she recaps Kings games, all things in sports. Follow her across the various social media platforms. Maybach, we appreciate